Nope. This is hard work. I'm getting hot. Can I get a cement truck, concrete mix delivered? Yeah, Jaimie's Island. $400 million. Oh. Can I get a discount on that at all? Oh, all right. Let me go. I'll call you back. So I've been thinking about how to do the floor in here, and it's going to be concrete floor. And there are a lot of options with that. Like, do I put a water barrier? Do I put reinforcement? Do I put seams in the concrete? All this different stuff. And without going into crazy amounts of details, I just want to put a thin layer of concrete over the whole thing. Because I'm not going to prevent it from cracking, because this end of the floor is all old clay. It's really dense packed over here. But then this end back here is all fill, so it's going to settle. So there's going to be one crack right here no matter what, and I'm sure there's going to be other cracks. But anyway, if I put like an inch, like 2.5 centimeters now, it's not very thick, but it's good enough to be a decent floor. If I put that down now and then wait, I don't know, a year or two, whenever it seems like everything is settled and stop moving, then I can put another layer on top of that, and it should be really stable then. So yeah, for right now, I'm just going to put a thin layer, like an inch, 2.5 centimeters over the whole thing. And I think that'll be good. My dome in Vermont had originally a 1/2 inch thick concrete, and then after I put another 1/4 inch on top of that. So it was 3/4 inch total. And that was in an environment where it was freezing and thawing every year. And it did pretty well. And I don't want to put a water barrier in here, because if any water gets below the water barrier, either through a little hole or through the sides or whatever, the water is never going to evaporate. So it'll actually trap water in. But if I just leave concrete on here, any water that gets in there will soak up through the concrete and evaporate. In terms of reinforcing the concrete, I wouldn't want to put reinforcement in this first layer anyway, because I just want it to crack wherever it needs to and settle everywhere. And then when I reface it, I could put reinforcement right on top of the old stuff and then go over the whole thing. So that way the reinforcement would be right in the middle of the concrete, the finished concrete. I wonder if I can do the whole thing in one shot. Like just start mixing buckets, start at that corner over there, and just go through all the way to the end. Maybe I'll see if I can just get out here early tomorrow and start cranking until it's done. I'm gonna have to order some food deliveries and drink deliveries. I think I can arrange that. I could probably explain this fancy feature crawl space. The original floor was going to be right here. So I got to here as I was building this wall, and Deshana said, "Hey, what if we just made the floor like a foot lower?" And long story short, the floor is a foot lower. So, I immediately went down, and the rest is like that. But there's this section here. I'm gonna have to do something fancy with that. I don't know what. I wonder if I can calculate how many buckets this will take, roughly. It's roughly 20 wall sections. The floor here, roughly. A wall section is like this. It's hard to find the seam now. One of those. All right, so if it's 20 wall sections-ish, a 3.5 inch wall section takes about 5 buckets, roughly. So if I take the 20 divided by 3, that's 7-ish, times 5, 35 buckets. So 35 buckets of concrete, roughly, to get 1 inch in here. All right, that's not too bad. I'll probably end up doing more like 40, because, I'll lose a little bit in little divots here and there. So yeah, about 40 buckets of concrete tomorrow. That's not too bad. I can totally do that. I have about 300 buckets of stuff here. More than enough cement in there. And the dome water should be full. All right. Guess I'll try to do that tomorrow. Ooh, smoothie!